We did have a request from one of our food truck owners requesting whether or not we thought it would make sense to allow her to set up on town property in downtown in particular. And we kind of had a brief discussion and then tabled the discussion for tonight. So has anybody come up with other thoughts about this hot button issue? Ashley met with a lawyer and looked at our zoning code as it relates to food vendors, and basically
I need to read
this attorney with her came up with what would basically be a text amendment for itinerant food products. So I'll just read it. Any itinerant food products dealer shall, A, be exempt from the provisions of 130-5 of this chapter and shall pay an annual licensing fee of $35. Be restricted to Park Row or the southeast side of the foot of High Street or any C1, C2, or C3 district, except that no itinerant food products dealer shall park within 150 feet of an existing restaurant or other food and beverage establishment. C, will provide proof of all state and county licenses and permits required to operate an itinerant food products concession at the time of application for a license under this section. D, shall not operate during the regular hours of the farmer's market, except upon notifying the town or farmer's market manager a week in advance and paying the fee required of other food vendors for selling foodstuffs at the market. And E, no bell, whistle, horn, klaxon, or system of sound amplification may be used after 8 p.m.
It's an unfair advantage to those people who pay property taxes, pay heat and electric. They have to be open every day to have their restaurant. If you have a food truck and it's raining hard that day, you just say, oh heck, I'll just stay home. But those other people have employees coming in. It's just an unfair advantage. And if they sell 25 sandwiches, it's 25 sandwiches that might have been bought at JR's or in the...
I did some research on this today, looking at some things that we had presented to us several months ago. And there's a report from the National League of Cities about what's going on in about 13 cities across the country. And the charges charged for food trucks range from about $150 to $400 a year. So point one, I think $35 is
too little.
It's too little. I do personally, you know, I'm not a huge fan of food trucks, but I do know that it's a trend for the younger generation in particular, and I think that it's another form of entrepreneurship that allows younger people to get into the food business because they haven't got a huge investment. I do think that at least 150 feet from an existing brick and mortar restaurant is a minimum. They average in these cities about that. 200 feet is a common setback. I don't like Fountain Park as a location, nor would I like to see food trucks parked alongside our war memorials, just out of respect. I'm not sure what the answer is in terms of a location. A lot of cities designate like vacant parking lots or vacant lots that are owned by the local jurisdiction as a place for food trucks to gather. And most restrict, there's nothing in there about hours of operation, and most restrict them to at the latest 10 o'clock at night. You know.
I think for me, I think Fountain Park makes sense because it's a market. It's a market every Saturday where we have 30 tents set up in the grass selling all kinds of stuff. So why can't we have a food truck there on a Tuesday at noon? I mean, to me, that's way less intrusive than the farmer's market, which I think we all think is a great thing.
You know, but as the saying goes, the more you have, you know, in a particular area, the more people are likely to come down. So, you know, having that food truck there might increase the overall foot traffic.
There's something to be said for that.
I know that we were given a petition with about 280 names on it, and there were several people on that petition that have brick and mortar establishments. So I know we were some people were brought up the fact that the truck was in front of the Chestertown Wine and Cheese Shop, And according to Ashley, the owner, they actually asked her to be there because they liked how she generates foot traffic. And then those people would go into their store. So it was actually a symbiotic relationship rather than one where she was sucking business away from her, at least in that instance.
There's really a precedent for this. If you look at the existing ordinance, the lines right above E, person selling locally grown fresh produce and locally caught fish, seafood products shall be exempt from the provisions of this chapter and shall pay a fee of $150, a 30-day license. Furthermore, which is odd, saying this is under the exempt from licensing requirements and you're licensing them. But it was passed in 1984, and I don't think other than the farmer's market, I've ever seen anyone set up or asked to do that. Jen, I know you haven't been here since then, but have you ever had anyone say, hey, it's in your ordinance, I want to go to Park Row on the southwest side of it and set up and here's $150. I got locally grown produce. So you actually have kind of a precedent. I think this could be redrafted. What they drafted is fine for them drafting it. First of all, I don't think $35 a year is a fair thing for someone to conduct business.
Well, we did that for
I-
90 days, remember?
I know when you did it,
In the
and I
beginning?
disagreed at the
And we were
time, and I don't
supposed to
vote either, so.
Get back to it after.
I
90
think,
days.
I think it should be based sort of on the advantages of business.
If it's me, it's Cross Street, actually. They're parallel parked on Cross Street with the window facing the brick sidewalk.
As she has been in inappropriate spots, but, I mean, parking in a 15-minute only for compact cars only spot is not exactly
On
appropriate.
Cross Street? You wouldn't have to wait, if you limited to that, you'd only get one food truck. There's no
Well, maybe
room.
that's what it is. I think you could fit 3 or 4 there. I mean, we only have 2.
Lose all those parking spots. Tough.
Well, I think
What
it is
side
a
of Cross Street?
placement.
The Cross Street side of Fountain Park.
Oh, down there. Oh, I was thinking on the
No,
other
no,
side.
no, I'm talking about Fountain Park, the
Might
Cross
again,
Street.
wouldn't be too
Okay,
sidewalk
that
that
would
we-
fit because there is one truck that parks there at the farmer's market. But if you look at the markings on that side of the street, it curves in at where the horse trough
Yeah.
is, because people turn right on High Line.
I think we agree that if this happens, it shouldn't interfere at all with the farmer's market. To me, the Cross Street side of Fountain Park makes the most sense because you can just parallel park like any other car. And if there's no space there, you go to the foot of High Street, maybe.
Yeah, I
Or
think
Wilmore
you're only
Park,
gonna get 2.
Or there's public parking
Well,
already.
they're not speaking. But
Pull in lots of places and walk over there.
she says to be restricted to Park Row or the southeast side of the foot of High Street, or any C1, C2, or
Yeah.
C3
I don't
district.
like that because then
that's
we don't even know
everywhere.
if it's a town road, it might be a state road.
Yeah. And it could be anywhere. I mean, that's
It
giving
is a
a
state
license
road.
for them to be almost.
It is a state road.
I know it is.
Okay, well, how do we want to proceed from here?
Let us draft, based on what you all have said tonight, we'll draft our version of this.
Okay.
If somebody wants to say what they suggest it should cost a month, or a day, or a week, let me know. But I don't think $35 a year is realistic.
$35 a week would probably be cheap.
Well, I don't want to scare anybody with a number, but I mean, we can discuss that when a number gets thrown out.
Okay, so Bill, you're gonna
Yep.
take a stab at that?
And I commend them for finding a pretty neat place in all of our ordinances to put that.